This film study is going to be an in-depth look at Uchenna Nwosu film from 2022 with the Seattle Seahawks. In my opinion, he's one of the most underrated edge defenders in the NFL. They talk about in high school three-sport athletes, guys who play all three sports, or maybe in baseball, I guess, a five-tool player, someone who can do everything. Uchenna Nwosu, as an edge defender, in my opinion, is one of those guys. He's 6'2", 250, but somehow plays bigger than that when he needs to, taking on offensive tackles, maybe a pulling guard or a kickout block by a fullback or a tight end. And then plays smaller and quicker and more athletic when he's dropping into coverage or when he's pursuing a play from the backside. I think he's a very complete outside linebacker edge rusher. I think the Seahawks obviously had an amazing draft last year as we lead into the 2023 draft here. Uh, Along with that, this was a expert signing. I don't know if you guys like the title, Emerald Gold. We're going to get into the film here in a moment. I'm going to show you 5 or 6 run plays, 5 or 6 pass rush opportunities, and then 2 or 3 situations where he's dropping into coverage. In my opinion, you're talking about a guy. Well, think about it this way: he had 15 sacks in 4 years with the Chargers, and then he had 9.5 this past year with Seattle. They're doing something right there. Clearly, he's matured and gotten better in some ways. He just turned 26 years old in the 2022 season. I think December 28th or 29th, something like that. Complete player. Hopefully, I can convince you of that during the film here. Let's get into it. All right, first we're going to look at some run plays. I'm going to try to spot shadow him prior to the play doing this live. This is a forced fumble where he sets the edge against the Broncos. Now I think it's Diggs, the safety, comes up and also is a part of it as well. So don't get me wrong, he's not doing this himself. But what I love about this play in particular is he's coming forward and getting his hands out on the tackle. And like I said, 6'2", 250, plays bigger when he needs to, like in situations like this, down on the goal line. Bulk, strength, explosiveness, your base, and your ability to push off and explode out of that base matters. Look at his heels. He's not getting dug out of there. In fact, he's shucking off the tackle, getting the left side of his chest and shoulder involved in the play. Diggs comes in. I'm not sure who gets the credit for the fumble here, but to me it looks like the ball is still under control by the running back, while Nwosu's got his hands on it. I'm not sure who gets credit for the fumble, but there was two fumbles in this game. Give the end zone angle. He's a brilliant football player all the way around. They use him all over the place. I think when you talk about like a 5-tool player in baseball or a 3-sport athlete in baseball in high school, you're talking about guys who can do a lot of things. And in my opinion, Uchenna Nwosu, it's a good thing that he's very good at a number of techniques because they can use him and be less predictable defensively across multiple fronts, whether they're in their nickel front, whether they're in their base. Here he is slamming down inside the C gap, inside the tight end, who's kind of like scooping away from him. He's going on this track, and then he's going to redirect upfield, get his hands on the football. Again, it's very similar to the previous play. You've got a safety outside of him, so that's why he's able to step down so violently and be so tight to the ball or where the ball is lined up. And you get another forced fumble down near the goal line. End zone angle, same play. There's Nwosu. You see him going inside the C gap, inside the tight end, fronting up the ball carrier right now. Clearly, you got a D tackle who's doing a fantastic job there. I think it's Woods, and then reaches in with his hand and punches the ball out. Beautiful play. All right, this is a great move. Compare that play with the power, the force, and even the second play, the forced fumble there where he's taking on the tight end, I think Dulcich of the Broncos. Look at the athleticism here. So you're talking about power, speed, and now speed, athleticism, agility to just dodge this right tackle. Little hand swipe, but it doesn't really hit. Didn't really matter. He gets his hips out of the way, steps outside, and then redirects back inside. You got other guys doing a great job here on the interior. They're in their nickel front. They being the Seahawks, they're in their nickel front. They've got a DB rolled up into the box. They're in 4-2 personnel. 4 down linemen or 2 down linemen, 2 outside linebackers, but nobody calls it 2-4. It's 4-2 personnel. And this is the athleticism. I picked these 2 plays to start it off with so you could see the power and the strength that he plays with when he needs to, and then the agility and the speed when he chooses to. All right, third play, this is going to be a wrong arm on run to him. We'll let it run back a couple of times. So wrong arm, he's digging out the inside shoulder of the first pulling lineman that gets to him. I think it's the left guard on this little counter concept. Look, you have Boy Mafe who's pursuing from the backside, who's a spectacular draft pick as well. So I'm talking about you got guard tackle pulling away here. And boy, Mafe is coming in from the backside trying to run down the line of scrimmage. But watch Nwosu get his left arm inside of and just stalemate this pulling guard. I'm trying to show you the power. The first two plays I showed you, the speed, athleticism, and agility on the second one, and then the strength and ability to hold up and not get expanded. Look at his feet. See his feet? Where they are here, he's not getting expanded by this left guard who pulled all the way across the formation. The wrong arm kind of seemed to maybe surprise that pulling guard. Beautiful play, I think, as a run defender on run plays at him. He's as good as it gets. Is he as good as the top 2 or 3 edge defenders in the league at that particular skill? Well, maybe no, not. But in my opinion, you're talking about a guy, and I hate top 10 lists. I think they're BS. It's lazy. I think you're talking about a guy who is as good as it gets across multiple skill sets. Here he is as a pass rusher. This is going to be a bull rush against the right tackle for the Rams. He dislodges the right tackle. He doesn't get the sack initially. He gets the sack on a second effort. Look at the push that he's getting. Power, ability to play up underneath of the right tackle, and then get his arms extended here. Eyes on the quarterback while he's got his arms extended. He's not playing to the right tackle. He's playing through the right tackle. Gets held a little bit, and then gets involved in the sack. Again, trying to show you his versatility. So the second one that I'm going to show you just showed you a bull rush against the right tackle for the Rams. Check out this speed rush. I think there's a little bit of a hand slap here. He'll give you an end zone angle so you can see it against the right tackle for the Giants, and then a forced fumble. I think he's got all the moves as a pass rusher. I really think he has nearly every move. Very versatile. I think he's a unique football player at 6'2", 250. He's not too short. He's not too tall. I think if you were doing Madden ratings, he's a guy who, now I'm old school. I don't play Madden a whole lot these days because I'm just no good at it. But back in the old days for me, I would say he's like between an 85 and a 91 in everything. Now, I don't know what his actual Madden ratings are. I'm not trying to say that's what they should be. I'm using it to illustrate and make a point. Using numbers, there's a little hand slap, as you can see right here. Just breaking down the posture of the right arm, right forearm of the right tackle, because he's not really dipping a whole lot. He's just running around him, getting the fumble force. But I was just using those Madden rating ideas to illustrate to you that I think he's good at everything. Rushing the passer, playing the run on run to him, playing the run on run away from him. He's really good at these inside stunts. I think this is an actual blitz stunt that they're running away from the running back in a pass situation against Arizona. So he's kind of the beneficiary of this. They're just destroying the pass pro on this right side by Arizona. Even though Arizona has enough guys available, they're stepping Woods upfield. The DB's blitzing off the edge, and then Nwosu just not holding, but he's just hesitating for a moment with the tackle and then looping underneath. Now, the second play I'll show you in the third and fourth is really just him winning to the inside. This one's a design stunt where he's the beneficiary, but look, edge defenders, D tackles, D ends, blitzing nickel linebackers or safeties, they all get design sacks sometimes. Sometimes they get 3 or 4 or 5 in a season. And Nwosu, I hope I'm showing you here on film, is a guy who gets his sacks in a multitude of ways. Arizona, I think this is just a more typical twist stunt between him and the D tackle. There's no nickel DB blitzing off the edge that's involved in the situation. 13's walking up to play the running back man. Once he gets on a track, you can see what they're doing here with the D tackle, just kind of trying to get upfield and pick the inside shoulder of this tackle, and then Nwosu loop underneath. Once he gets on that track, that little loop underneath, he's damn near unstoppable. He's going to proceed to the football, to the point of attack. All right, over here against the left tackle for the Jets, I think you're going to get 2 plays against the Jets here. This is violent. This is just the inside move. There's no stunt here in terms of the D tackle picking for him. This is just an inside move. So I think he's got everything. The only thing I didn't see a whole lot of is like a spin move to the inside or a spin move to the outside. But you can see him jab step with the outside, foot, and then jump back in here to the B gap. Kind of reminds me of a move that Justin Houston uses a lot. Beats, I think that's Fant pretty easily. Violent finish on Mike White, one of the backup quarterbacks for the Jets that played a lot this year. Brutal play. Against the Jets as well, back over here on the other side, our left now, facing the right tackle for the Jets. Maybe I had it backwards. Maybe that wasn't Fant before. Again, an inside move, quarterback hit on Mike White again. Plays on both sides. Generally, I've seen him playing on the left side with Boy Mafe playing on the right side. I think he's a hell of a football player. Hopefully, you can tell by my commentary and the plays that I have chosen to illustrate to you that I think he's extremely versatile and he's worthy of being talked about when people talk about effective, dangerous edge rushers who can do a whole hell of a lot of things. All right, so the last set of plays I'm going to show you, this is pass drops. I mean, for a guy who plays against the run as well as I think he does, and I have selected plays to show you, so there's some that I omitted. I mean, I had like 60 plays that I chose originally, but I'm not going to show 60 plays for a lot of reasons. I don't think people really want to watch 60 plays, number one. Number two, the more plays I show, the greater chance that Baldy's Breakdowns or NFL.com does a copyright hit on my video and I don't make any revenue out of it. If you enjoy this breakdown and you're a Seahawks fan, you want to support me, subscribe to the channel. I like to do videos of all kinds of players across the league, not just Ravens players. If you really want to try to support me, whether you're a Seahawks player or Seahawks fan or anything else, feel free to join my Patreon. There's a link in the description. All right, this is a pass drop. This is just how smart and savvy he is. He's going to get in the window of, I think, what looks like it's a in-breaking route here by the number 2 receiver. So he gets in the window. So he's smart, right? Steps to the tackle, makes the tackle have to worry about him. It's only a 3-man rush. You can see he's in the window of this in cut by the number 2 receiver. And then once he puts his foot in the ground, once he sees Russell Wilson escape out of here towards the sideline, watch the explosiveness, putting his foot in the ground, just deciding, let me go. Go now. The closing speed. Everything is there with this guy. Like I said, I had 60 plays saved, probably watched a total of like 200 before deciding to save those 60. The NFL.com website is amazing, allows you to save particular plays. This is the same play from the end zone angle. Again, we're focusing on pass drops at this point, just showing you how smart he is and savvy, getting in the window, reading the quarterback's eyes. In this case, his eyes never looked out, to the number 2 receiver, to the inside receiver. He never read 2 to 1, but he's not an inside linebacker. He's not a nickel safety who's typically playing there. So, he's going to be told to stare at the quarterback and just get in the quarterback's window, his field of vision. Did get in that slant window even though Russell Wilson was looking away from him, and then explodes to finish the play. He's just so efficient, man. And it's one of my favorite plays. He drops the interception. So if you're a negative person, and there's a lot of negative people out there to watch football and evaluate people or try to, he dropped an interception. Look at all the good that he did in this play, though. First of all, he jams the tight end. And when I say jams, like, he's got both hands on his chest. This isn't just a wave jam where when you watch the end zone angle, there's really no contact made. Some people teach, they say jam, and all the guy ends up doing is forcing him to go inside of them by 1.5 yards so they can't reach him. No, this is actual jam. 2 hands to the chest, that's a jam. And then settling inside of the window on the in-breaking route, and damn near gets a pick that would have been a pick 6. For him, I wish he had caught this football, because for the stats that he put up this year, 9.5 sacks, all the great plays he made against the run, I would love for him to have had that balanced statistical designation, because there's a lot of people who think statistics is the end-all be-all, and statistics clearly do tell you a story. Particularly consistency, right? A guy who has 18 sacks in one season is clearly a better pass rusher than a guy who has 6 sacks in a season. But as those numbers get closer, in my opinion, as you get closer to 4 sacks, guys who have 4 sacks to 6 sacks, how do you delineate, how do you describe or pick who's a better pass rusher? How do you determine who's better when one guy has 9.5 sacks and another guy has 12? Well, in my opinion, you've got to look at what's their global impact. And Uchenna Nwosu, in my opinion, has global impact coming forward, attacking, rushing the passer, playing at angles, so lateral angles, run away from him, chasing the play down, or setting the edge on run at him, run plays to his side. And then he can drop into coverage, get in the windows like I think I've shown you today. He's one of my favorite players. I'm hoping to do about 40 of these film studies in the offseason, but there's only so much time during the day. Let me know if you appreciate it, if you sat around this long listening to the commentary and watching the plays. Uchenna Nwosu, as you can tell, is one of my favorite guys. I did have I did save, like I said, 60 plays. They're on the online database that I keep. So if you join my Patreon or join my YouTube channel as a YouTube channel member, then you get access to that online database and you can watch those 60 plays. They're not labeled or anything like that. They're just there for people to watch based on particular players. If you really appreciate this video, please subscribe. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already, and help me, get more interest in some of my content by sharing this link outside on social media. Appreciate you guys' time.